Oh, well, we love watching YouTube ourselves. We watch all kinds of videos on YouTube, lifestyle, cooking. I watch how-to hacks that never work. And there was a moment when Miranda goes, you know what, we should have a YouTube channel. I've always wanted one. And you don't really talk about your life that much. We could really bring people in to have them understand what it's like to be in our relationship, what it's like to be 30-something-year-old lesbian couple thriving in our own world. And so one morning I woke up and I said, okay, I saved the tag 8 p.m. Now we got to start making content. And then it just started going from there.
Well, I think it's been interesting for me to see that there are people who feel certain judgments or have certain opinions about interracial couples. And since we got married and made that public, obviously, I've been more exposed to some of that. And I think that ultimately, love is love. And I'm a firm believer that people should be able to freely and openly love whomever they feel that way towards, as long as they're not endangering or forcing somebody into a situation. So whether you are Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, Native American, Mongolian, whatever,
Japanese.
name it. I feel like if you find a connection with somebody who's different than you and you're able to learn and see new things through one another's eyes or experience someone else's culture, that's a beautiful thing. That's how we grow as individuals. That's how we grow in a society. That's how we find more tolerance and understanding for each other. So ultimately, sharing our little pieces of that with each other has been great, and hopefully somebody else feels inspired by that in the world. And although Raven and I are different colors, we're very similar, and we have similar mentalities and similar desires and similar interests, and then we also have really significant differences. So that's being a human, though, at the same time. So I just think there's been so much negativity and judgment, and my hope is we can have less of that and more acceptance and love for each other.
And for us, I feel like with our YouTube channel, those people who aren't fully understanding of how important it is to mingle and learn, we can show how simple it can be, because we are a married couple. We are going and expressing what's going on with ourselves, with each other, and with the watchers, and you get to see a slice of life within this type of relationship. You know, Lesbian and multiracial. I mean, I think that's important for those who have not been able to travel or open their horizons to see what it can be like, and kind of break some of the stereotypes that have been put out there in the past.
Yeah.
We're really happy to be a part of the change. That's what's happening now. There's a huge change happening in the world. You can look at it from any kind of perspective, and there's change happening. And why not promote positivity instead of division? Why not promote neighborhood and community and respect for one another during these trying times? And hopefully we can really be that for people to smile about, right, babes?
You've taken the words from her. I think she understands.
I really appreciate that. That's very kind of you. And obviously there are many emotions that go through that when you say it, but ultimately I just keep grinding. That's all you can do. Just take one step at a time and just hope for the best. I would probably work with Ron Howard and shadow him as a director, because he has the most similar background to my own and who I want to become later. And just to kind of pick his brain in that world, how he transitioned, what that was like for him. I know it's a white male, so he probably can't help me that much, but I would love to like pick his brain still, because coming from television at such a young age and transitioning, you are typecasted slash whatever, and I would love to pick his brain. What about you, honey?
That's such a tricky question to me. It's almost like asking to name your favorite movie or pick your favorite book. It's like, wait, there's too many things. But the person who came to mind first for me was actually a friend of mine called Zahir McGee. And the reason I would want to work with slash learn from Zahir is he is a writer, and he has created now and sold his own show, and it's called Queens. It's going to be on ABC this season. And, watching somebody who is as talented as Zahir kind of work his way up, go from working on specific shows to, successful shows, but then having his own and really commanding that space and creating interesting, new, fun, fresh content that also is giving different, not just your white cast opportunity. Queens is a primarily Black cast and female driven. And I think that that's just all very interesting and admirable. And, talent really speaks for itself, and he's talented. So just being around somebody who can write, show run, act as an executive producer, and be kind of have their hand in every pocket, from casting to set design to location scouting, is awesome. So Zahir.
Before we got married, I never really talked about, actually, let me change that sentence. I never talked about my private life. I kept it to myself because that's how I was taught to keep it, and that worked for me. However, as the Hollywood criteria / world changes, it's all about who's dating who and who's doing this and what is your personal life. And I always was like, no, mine is mine. If you get too involved in me, then I don't have anything for myself. I got married, and Miranda and I had a conversation, just kind of understanding the situation we're placed in. We will be public in a sense because people will say, oh my goodness, you're married now, but it's really up to us to be as public as we want to. And instead of going the Hollywood route and doing magazines after magazines explaining our life, we chose to take the bull by the horns and create a YouTube channel for it. It's interesting. We have conversations every day, what we are okay with putting out there, how we put it out there, how perfect we can, mold this brand so that it is something that can last past us, and we can pass on to others / just, pass the baton to another couple that we agree, understand, in our values and believe in what we believe in. I think it's a journey every day, and especially for someone like Miranda, who has never been public before, I can only imagine what she goes through that she doesn't tell me about.
I mean, personally for me, it wasn't as jarring of a transition as others may think. I think it's this very interesting thing that happens where, yes, there's a world outside of us that knows about Raven and knows about us, but as an individual, I don't live in that space. So I'm not out in the world engaging with all of these people who have their feelings, thoughts, and opinions. So it's still kind of easy to be grounded in our everyday. It's not so overwhelming that you can't walk down the street or get a gallon of milk without, crowds forming around you or anything like that. And I think because of my background, and I've grown up in Los Angeles and had family and friends within the entertainment industry, and I've worked within it, I had that knowledge from the get-go. And also when it comes to people commenting or haters or lovers or whatever it is, it's lovers. Kind of like
you got lovers in the comments, bitch?
It's kind of like you gotta stay away from both.
Yeah, stay away from the comments, ex-lovers.
That's really just true. It's kind of like, because too much love can go to your head, and too much hate can pull you into your sorrow. And I think, keeping that healthy perspective is paramount in this world, and knowing that the haters, most of the time, that has more to do with them than you. And the love, it's like, thank you for giving me some of your energy and time and your positive thoughts, and I send that back to whoever sends that to me. So it just kind of is what it is. Massively. I think the entertainment industry has really shifted, especially when you're talking about things like Instagram, YouTube, it's right at our fingertips. We've gotten very accustomed to the instant gratification of, oh, I want to watch this, here it is, or, oh, this is what I'm in the mood for, there it is. And the entertainment industry as a whole, I think, has also been saturated now by influencers and reality stars and people who have, different walks of life. And it's not, I don't think it's a negative thing. I'm not saying that at all, because I could probably be put more close into now this category of someone who's making themselves an influencer with my brand. But I think that old Hollywood, people who have had this passion for either like telling stories or being an actor, a director, a writer, it's morphed into different things. And obviously also with social media, we have so much more ability to hate, voice our opinions, and it's all now its own ecosystem.
Yeah, it's a lot different. I mean, I started in the 80s, the 90s.
Yeah, I've seen a big change.
And it's morphed tremendously. And it is, kind of, if you want to keep up with the world, you got to change with it. And Hollywood has interjected a whole new level of fame, like she said, through social media and through the internet, that if you want to stay relevant slash, keep up with the Joneses, you're going to have to suck it up and figure it out. And, there's that old mentality of the actor is the actor and you don't really go into their personal life until there's a scandal. But the way that the world is consuming content, you got to give it to them when they want or you'll get forgot. So I would say that what you just said is actually true. There's a circle of people that you can't get in unless either you're born into that circle, you got money to get in that circle, or you can give something to those people to let you in that circle. There's a new circle of people that are creating their own rules similar, that even they're not allowed into old Hollywood. And there's tiers. I mean, I hope I'm not speaking too cryptic, but there are tiers to this thing. So the biggest myth for me is that it's easy. It's hard to be in this industry and grow celebrity authentically and with a weight to it that can last you for a long time. We have all these people coming in through these apps, super famous. They have this many followers. They're on every carpet, this, that, and this. But if you notice, they're all going into music. They're trying to act. They're trying to do this. Like, you can get in here, but you have to continue to grind because it's just the way the business is. It's hard to get into it. It's hard to get into these doors. But at the same time, pop off real quick to make sure you make them some money and you're fine. It's a weird juxtaposition. What do you think?
I mean, it's kind of similar to what you both said. I think one of the biggest myths is just the ease and the glamour and the glitz that it seems to sell people. And the reality is people work really hard. There's a lot of sacrifice. I think when people crave fame, they don't understand what else comes with fame, and how difficult that can be. You really do lose parts of yourself, whether that's just your ability, as I said earlier, to like go get some milk or whatever it may be. It's a hard, you need to have good people around you that you really trust, I think, to help navigate some aspects of it, depending upon how large you become in terms of notoriety. But it's a business. That's the thing too. People think it's something, it's truly a cutthroat business. And yeah,
you got to be ready for it.
So I think that the like really kind of detrimental trolling that Raven was subject to was before me, when she was younger. And if I look back on that, or we have a conversation about it, I feel for her. I can't imagine how, I put myself in that position and being like my 16-year-old awkward self having to be on a red carpet or something, and just, oh my gosh, because even now I'm very critical of my own self. So that might be part of why the comments that come towards me don't really faze me, because whatever anyone else is saying about me, I'm saying probably like 10 times worse or more judgmental towards myself. So I have a lot of compassion for what Raven had to go through and what she had to grow up in, because I think when you are in those developmental years, you're so vulnerable, and that's just hard. But today, I mean, I kind of just brush it off as best I can. Some of it makes me laugh. A lot of it is so far from the truth. Like when I'm called,
Karen.
I'm called a Karen, or people come after me because I'm white, or they think I'm a bimbo or an airhead. I'm like, oh my God, let me tell you how much I wish I were a bimbo or an airhead, because I think that navigating this world would be so much easier for me. I wouldn't be so sensitive and reactive to everything if I was just a bimbo. Like, I'm way too serious. I'm way too conscious. So, when there are little bits of truth that hit, like sometimes people will notice things that I am insecure about, whether that's like my hairline or sometimes the ways I eat food or whatever. That sometimes can hit harder just because it is true, but the majority of the stuff that comes, it's just like, thank you so much. And I honestly believe that people have a right to voice their opinions and their feelings, and not everyone's going to like me, not everyone's going to love me, not everyone's going to like or love her. And
that really doesn't matter anymore because we got each other. So.
And if you're getting hate, you're getting it. I mean, I know this sounds really bad, but like, you're on that person's radar. For a person to sit there and type a hate comment, like, they're taking time out of their day. They have the same 24 hours I have, and they're deciding to spend it hating me for 4 minutes, whatever.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And that's your choice to live in a negative space. But, again, yeah, just.
Well, the final result is kind of a I could give a attitude nowadays. As I was in it, it was very emotionally draining, very detrimental to my mental health, and it took a while to kind of understand how I was gonna stand on my own 2 feet within my confidence. And no one ever knew, because I know how to turn it on and make people think that nothing hurts me. And recently I just read something saying that one of our oldest quotes is the stupidest quotes we've ever implemented into humanity, which was, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me." That's the worst quote ever, because words, especially in today's world, are so powerful and so hurtful, and will, burrow itself into your psyche like a larva and grow black mold in there if you're not careful. So I deal with my childhood bullying from the industry on an everyday basis to figure it out. It manifests itself in other ways that I have now masterclassed myself to be better at. But yeah, it was hurtful. And I'm sure there are so many people out there between the ages of 7 and 18 to 23 who have been bullied about their size, weight, or what they look like. And I feel for you, because I did on a public scale as well. So welcome to the club. We're beasts and we'll be better later. The first thing I would say to someone who wanted to get into the entertainment business, whether it's social media or my original business, Hollywood, is that, again, this is a job. You have to take it seriously. Yes, it's fun and games after you say action, but before you say action, there's pre-production, there's post-production. It's a lot of work that goes into things. You cannot slack. And it's not fair to those who actually put in the work to live that way. There's some people that I run into now. I'm like, "So how did you get here?" "Oh, I woke up this morning and then my agent did this and I just sat there and waited for the phone call and then I got like $4 million." And I'm like, wow, cool beans. Well, I woke up this morning, I put in at least 30 minutes of work, and I called this person and this person and this person, and then another 4 hours of work. Wow, congratulations. So it's kind of like, there's different strokes for different folks. Certain things will happen for other people, but you can't be jealous. You can't be mad. You just have to do what your person is supposed to be doing, and always have a really good lawyer. That's another tip. Yes, we definitely see children in our future. I think I can speak for both of us when we say we hope that our brand has reached multiple eyes within this world to promote a healthy um, lifestyle brand of within the LGBTQ plus community, within the female community, within the multicultural relationship community. We hope to permeate into people's lives within cooking, within conversations, and have healthy conversations with people. We hope to create content that doesn't necessarily have our faces on it as well, but also that others can enjoy. And we hope to employ many people that deserve the right and chance to showcase their talent um, in a way that if they went to, for instance, a Universal Studios or a Warner Brothers Studios, they wouldn't get, the time of day. But it's up to us to provide those opportunities for people, and we want to make sure that our brand keeps the door open in any way that it can.
Absolutely. I think another thing within the next 5 years that'll be interesting and is currently a focus of ours, kind of more behind the scenes, is also figuring out how, like, this is who we are as this couple, but who are we also as individuals, and where do I see myself going? What am I passionate about? And for Raven, she has more in her bucket, so to speak. She already has her directing and things that, and her art and things that kind of like take her over here. So I'm kind of creating a new narrative around myself, and hopefully people connect with me and the things that I want to share as just Miranda, not Raven's wife, or not just this one part of, this unit, which is also such a fantastic thing. But there's a lot more to me than just that.